this is really taking the temperature of the dog's temperament in that moment. And Sarah, that's important too, because the dog who doesn't want any more pets now might want all of them in 20 minutes. So it's just a snapshot of that dog in that moment, how he's feeling about the interaction. It is not a general statement about who he is as a dog. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for another episode of Dog Sense. I'm your host, Kathy Santo, here with my co-host, Sarah. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, guys.
Now, before we get started, I wanted to remind you guys, if you love what we're doing, we want you to share it with your friends, maybe your neighbor with the annoying dog, and like and subscribe and give us comments. Like, we want all the feedback. We want you to share this with people who can benefit, because that's why we're doing it. We happen to love doing this. We want everybody in the world to have an amazing puppy and dog and solve their problems for them. We want you to make what we teach you something that you let everybody else know about. So we have a very exciting episode, and it is one of my favorite topics, and it is how to greet a dog, which, Sarah, I don't think a lot of people really know how to do this properly.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, this goes wrong, right? This is not something that usually goes well out in the wild in the real world. And where we normally hear it from is, unfortunately, from owners who may have dogs who are nervous around new people or dogs who are overly friendly, right? So either way, this can go either way. When you're properly greeting a dog, you have to keep in mind who that dog is and what they may need some help with too.
And I think there's 2 aspects of it: the greeting you expect and the greeting you don't, right? So let's talk about the one you don't first. So that's when you're walking your dog and somebody just comes up to you and drops to their knees and starts hugging your dog. Or Sarah, worse.
How about as I break into a cold sweat thinking about that happening to me?
Yeah. And how about the people who don't do that, but when your dog is by them, they reach out and they pat like the dog's butt. Like, what even is that? That's a great way to get bitten. And so if something like
bitten
that
or slapped, because honestly, if I turned around and I saw some stranger patting my dog's butt, I would be pissed.
Well, and you wouldn't have too much time to be pissed, because Jack would turn around and give them the correction of their life.
Jack would let them know how offended he truly was.
Yes, prosthetics are real. So if that happens to you, you are in serious damage control mode. So if your dog's spooked, I'd be shoving food in their mouth. I'd be moving them away. And then I would just make a mental note to give myself space from crowds of people, or to be more aware. Because sometimes you can tell, Sarah, when somebody's coming by you, you can see them eyeing up your dog, right? And you're like, I know what you want. And you're not I'll cross the street if I have to.
Yeah. Or you can put your dog in middle, right? So that's a position that we teach our students. A lot of times we teach it as a recall or as an alternate to that, but it is really valuable. If you are in public and your dog might be a little bit nervous, or maybe they genuinely just don't like strangers reaching into their personal space. If your dog is in middle, and what we mean by that is they're basically sitting in between your legs, no one's going to reach for your crotch to pet your dog's face, right? Like, you're going to be a lot safer.
If they do and they get nailed,
oops. That was completely inappropriate and rude. You reached for my crotch and my dog told you not to.
So middle is great. And then again, if your dog really spooked because somebody touched his rear, then that's a note to you on the side to be doing a little bit more body handling, because we really want these dogs to be able to be optimistic about things that happen to them, right? That they don't expect. They're like, "Ooh, I got a little goose there." Okay. But so those are the things you can't control. But let's circle back to the ones that you can, starting with, let's do the request, Sarah. Can I pet your dog?
Which is awesome, right? It's really great when people, at least, or children too. If a child approaches me and says, "Hey, can I pet your dog?" If I'm with a dog who's not friendly, I genuinely feel terrible saying no, because the kid did the right thing, right? They asked first. So if I am with a friendly dog and a child asks me, "Hey, can I pet your dog first?" That's an awesome moment, because at least they asked permission first.
And, if you didn't want them to pet your dog, but you were willing to have an engagement, you could give them a cookie and say, throw it and say, catch. And then you're facilitating that. But also I think it's important for parents to teach their kids that you can ask if somebody's dog is friendly, or can I pet your dog? But that person might not know if he has a friendly dog. They might not be reading it. So they might say, oh yeah, my dog is friendly. And then the kid goes to pet it and they get nailed. So this is where teaching your kids body language, and you as well, so that you understand, even though the person is saying yes, the dog is saying, heck no.
Yeah.
So that's a really important piece of it.
Yeah, and I think also both kids and adults can follow. This is what we teach in our canine body language workshop, is the 5-second rule, right? So teach yourself, your kids, everyone. If you're going to say hello to a dog that you don't know very well, right? You've asked the owner, they said, yes, he's friendly, he'd love to say hello. First thing you could do is kind of stand, like let the dog approach you. And then also when you do go to pet them, pet the dog for 5 seconds and then take your hands off and see what the dog does next. If the dog kind of nuzzes into you, they are making it very clear that they want more pets, then yeah, pet for 5 more seconds, take your hands off. But if you go to pet that dog for 5 seconds and they kind of just like they're nonchalant or they look the other way, if they're neutral, that tells me, they don't really want any more pets either.
Right. And if they move away, they definitely don't want, and don't pull them back and hug them and squeeze them and say, oh, I love you so much, because the dog isn't a vehicle to soothe anyone, because they have their own agenda. So this kid might have had a bad day at school and he's going to pet the dog to make himself feel better, and the dog is moving away. You got to take that into account. It might be good for you, but it's not a good moment for the dog. And if the dog has to advance his cues to you to say, I'm uncomfortable, then we get into the territory of tension and showing teeth and growling and biting. And we don't want to go there. So this is really taking the temperature of the dog's temperament in that moment. And Sarah, that's important too, because the dog who doesn't want any more pets now might want all of them in 20 minutes. So it's just a snapshot of that dog in that moment, how he's feeling about the interaction. It is not a general statement about who he is as a dog.
So within those 5 seconds that they're petting the dog, what are kind of your rules for how they should be doing that?
So I don't want people bending over my dog. Absolutely not. Because a lot of dogs will be intimidated by that, or they might get really excited and then rock it up and then boop the person in the face and then bloody nose, bloody teeth, whatever.
Nev did that to me the other day. She literally booped me so hard and almost bit my tongue off. So even dogs, it can happen.
Yeah, because I think people are worried about the aggression piece of it, but there's also the overjoyed piece of it.
Exactly.
You can get injured so many ways with dogs. We'll do a podcast on that. But it'll be at least like 7 hours.
Yeah, we'll go through everyone's scars. How did that injury happen?
My first dog did that to me. My Doberman Clapton. I bent over him to pet him. I was standing up. I just bent my head down. He came up and he just drilled my nose. It was like, I thought, oh God, it's that deviated septum that all the girls in high school got nose jobs for. No, it wasn't. It was just a bloody nose. But it hurt like crazy. And I had this huge, but it was a moment of joy. He was like, I'm so happy.
Right, exactly.
That's why we teach sit to greet. I also really don't want people to pet dogs over the top of the head. I don't even know why that's a thing, but everybody does it. Yeah. And I don't know about you, but if I didn't know somebody and they came over the top of me, I might duck. Right. Or again, it teaches dogs to jump. I'd much rather put my hand out, not away from my body in their space. That's rude. Yeah. Just put my hand out a few inches. Dog comes up to it and sniffs it. That does not mean he wants more. Right. So that's another issue. If my dog sniffs your hand, he's not saying touch me. He's going, your hand smells. Yeah. If he becomes closer to you and you just do a little pet on the side of his neck, like a little gentle thing, not a lot of big movements, and he stays there and leans into you, that's yes, please. But it's like a bad dating relationship. They get to first base and then they're going home base. It's like, no, there's letters in between A and Z, and you got to make sure you get through all of them.
Yeah, I think the last one is just also with the letting them sniff your hand thing. What you said was correct, right? Put the hand next to your body, let them come to you. Don't go like this and stick your freaking hand in their face and be like, hi, Papa, like doing like that. A lot of people do that to dogs, and dogs are like, what the heck, man? Like, get your hands out of my face.
And then you get the biting. Right? Yeah. Or the ones that are super cranky. They're like, yeah, let's go. And then they're jumping on you. You're like, oh my God, the dog is jumping. Yeah, because you did that to him. I also like a neutral body position.
Mhm.
And if you can be aware of who your dog is and you know they're nervous or they're low confidence or whatever it is, have somebody not face them frontally. I'd
Mhm.
rather have them approach with their side to the dog and then hand at their side, no
Mhm.
eye contact, just, like neutral. And
Yeah.
to me, if you had a low self-confidence dog, if the dog leaned to that person and leaned back, that's a win, right?
Yep,
I'm
exactly.
feeding that. Good job.
Yep.
You took a step into it and then you did what you did and you came back to me. Awesome. Because really we're trying to create engagement with the dogs to us.
Yeah.
So I really don't want my dog seeing everybody on a walk as a potential person who's going to give them a
Right.
massage. I want my dog into me.
Yeah. And I think the last one, pretty obvious. Don't squeeze or hug a dog that you don't know. Just
No.
no.
I mean, dogs don't do that to each other. Take a note, take a page from their book, right? And that's a good way to get your face in a place that it shouldn't be, which is near a dog.
Yep.
Now people are going to say, Sarah, I can hear it, but I want to hug my dog, blah, blah. It's fine. If your dog likes that kind of stuff, okay. But I don't know. Can you really check and see if they do like it? Because if they're tolerating it, it's not liking it.
That's what I was gonna say too, is like, so now that you guys have heard this episode and like you have a general idea of how to do this, now go up to those dogs or go up to a friend's dog who you do genuinely say hello to a lot and do this to them. Do the stand to the side, put your hand out, and let the dog tell you if they want to interact with you or not.
It's like
it'd be really interesting.
Yeah, you've learned a new language now.
Yeah.
So it's like we always like to say, if somebody came up to you and you didn't speak Japanese, and in Japanese they told you your car was on fire, you'd be like, "Thank you, have a nice day," right? Because you don't know what the heck they're saying. But that's what the dogs feel like. They're like, "Dude, if you keep touching me, I'm gonna nail you," and you're like, "Oh, you want more?" So this is gonna help keep you and your family safe. Now, there's a great way to remember that. We say you don't want to have a poor or poor's greeting because that can end up poorly for everyone. So we start with never put your face in a dog's face. Never do an over the head pat. The second O is for occupying his personal space and leaning over him. Never do that. The R is for reaching your hand out into his space. And then the S is for don't squeeze and hug a dog. So that's POORS, POORS. That's how you can remember that. And Sarah, it's funny. Today at the school, Lauren asked me if there were how many days in July. And I said, 30 days has September, April, June, and November, all that. And they hadn't heard of it. And I'm like, okay, I'm old, but B, I like stuff like that, like POORS. It's a poor greeting. I had to throw the S at the end, but these are the things that can help you remember things quickly. And it's easy to teach other people as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely share this. Again, this is another great episode, which I'm going to get into. But like we said in the beginning, share this episode with friends and family. Maybe they do have young kids or even teenage kids in the home where they would listen to this episode so that they can also keep themselves safe too.
Yep. And it's going to give your dog a better experience. The more people in your circle who know this, it's going to make your training easier and your dog's life a lot easier too.
Yeah, guys. And also, if you're kind of out and you have like a friend dog who you want to try this with, you could always grab a video of it and tag us. We would love to see you guys practicing this type of greeting with dogs and then tell us, be like, hey, I think in this interaction that the dog wants more pets. What do you think? We're always open to giving feedback from videos and stuff. So again, if you guys need to reach us, you can always email us info@kathysanto.com. If you're practicing this and posting it to your social media, you can tag us at Kathy Santo Dog Training. And then again, as always, if you like what you hear, jump over to whatever subscription service you download from, like, rate, subscribe, and share. We want to continue to be able to create an awesome community of dog lovers and learners. All right, guys, get out there and practice your poor greetings.
And we will see you soon.